All right, guys, welcome. Hope everyone had a good New York session. I was really hoping for a nice PO3 continuation leading into our PO3 lesson today, Jess.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
That's the H4 here for 10 o'clock's just opened high
Oh,
for the manipulation and then shot straight down. Would have been
ooh.
quite tricky in there. Look forward to discussing that when we get into the daily review. I've just tried just adjusting my mic volume down a bit as well, so we balance out a bit. Can you guys hear me okay still?
Yeah, it sounds great on my end. I did actually lower you on my end as well, so hopefully it sounds equal once the video renders.
Yeah, cool. You had a good week so far, Jess?
Actually, I haven't traded this week. It's NFP week, so I've kind of just been watching, and I surprisingly have not taken any trades yet. Just kind
Nice.
of getting on the charts at the wrong time, I guess, because every time I get on, there's not really much going on for me. So,
Yeah, and always a good week to be cautious with,
hmm
like the week before and the end of the month week and then the first week with the new month. Tend to get that manipulation with NFP as well. So we'll jump into our high time frame analysis. I might start. I had been doing the monthly previously, but we're going to go back a bit further, and we'll look at the 12-month and the 6-month first. I think to get a bit more clarity of where price can be going to. So 12-month pretty clean here. We've got our bullish order block here. Oops. For a plausible draw, if we do keep coming down, we'll go back down to our 6-month and break that up. So we can see price did come back and test this order block. And then we've continued up. Go down to our 3-month. And then we've got that got equal lows here. And we can look at the 50% mark of this wick here from July as another level. Rid of these.
Yeah, I love marking out the wick CEs when we get big wicks like that.
Yeah, get those CEs. I think I remember talking about these equal lows ages ago when that was playing out.
Yeah, we had
We were
this
looking at
OD
them as a
marked out.
draw, but it was a
Yep,
trap. And then price
absolutely.
continued up. Let's change that to the right.
Yeah, Connor, that's a good point. We're ending the quarter as well. We're ending Q1, so
Yeah. So yeah, March could be interesting close
mm-hmm.
and draw down towards this 50% level. If we go into the monthly, so it's starting to get a little bit messy here on the monthly now. So we had we looked at the failed swings. So it had the failed swing here from January and closed back in the range. So we're looking for price to go to the high of the December wick, which failed to take out, and then it's closed back below here, back below the opens here as well, and come back down and taken that January low. And so this month's just open high and come straight down to these lows here, which I think we did
Yeah, it's gonna be
marked out
interesting.
last week.
It's gonna be interesting if we see SD here to close the month out.
Yeah. that moving average. Down here's the smooth moving average. That would be the 20, I think. I don't think it'll show the 200 for the monthly. Oh yes, down there. So then we have this week here as well.
Jeremiah asked, are those equal lows to Japan incident? I have no idea. I don't recall.
Yeah, not sure.
That was it was back over the summer though when like we had that when we were all like concerned that it was gonna circuit.
I think I remember shorting, wanting them to be taken out.
Mm-hmm.
These ones here. Because it was only by a tiny amount. I'm like, there's no way that's gonna be the low. We're gonna get a big push through.
We're gonna body through that. Yeah, exactly. We're not just gonna leave wicks behind like that.
So a few points of interest in these weeks. If we continue lower, we're still so early in the month. We've had so much movement already.
Yeah.
First week.
Yeah. Yeah, it really begs the question, is this going to be a liquidity sweep, or do we just body all the way down?
Yeah. If we go into the weekly. So yeah, we've taken that liquidity. And then we've got this order block here as well that we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm. And we did say once it gets to these low resistance lows here that it was going to be fast, and indeed, just rip through them.
And we had that bullish SBS we're looking at from the break from here. Be from this, from this low. 1, 2.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, interesting area, and like we can watch 50% of these two down close candles here as well, and then we've got 50% of those high time frame wicks around the same area.
Had we marked out OTE here as well from that low to that high? Did we do that last week? I don't recall.
Can't remember. Let's do that. Template OTE. We're at it from this one. And we got that BC in there. This is just similar to what we do really on our our daily setup. We're looking for the highs and lows. We do our OTE. Count out the swings. Yeah, very interesting area that it's coming into for sure. If we drop down to the daily, and we can pop that standard deviation back on. Get rid of these. Oops. And so this is the one that we've been in for a while. 2.5 recume or redistribution.
Yeah, I got that alert earlier than the week. I was like, wow. I think it was on a Monday. I got the alert for it.
Yeah, hit it a bit quicker than what we thought for that week.
Yeah.
Because we're expecting, it would have been cleaner if we could have had a move up to here. So this is still unmitigated. So what I was looking for originally for this week even was to come back up and back down.
Mm-hmm. Once I saw the sweep of the 2 as well, I thought we were gonna go up, honestly. I didn't think we were gonna have more down movement.
Yeah,
After, yeah, I think at Monday or Tuesday's closed. Tuesday's
yeah.
close. Yeah.
So then we had, yeah, so then Monday's just like swung both sides. And I think on Monday, sorry, on the following day, so Tuesday, I'd mentioned in the chat, now that we'd had this candle here, which has taken both sides, if we end up closing below that, then you can use that whole candle as a range
Mm-hmm.
and look for price to come back into that range and then come out. But it did, it closed back in the range here, so it's only yeah, from yesterday or today for everyone else who's in New York that it's closed out of that. So this whole this one candle here from Monday is now can now be used as an order block for price to come back in, retest and continue down. And then we had that. It's just a little bit messy. Retest here of the bearish order block. But then like that closed
Yeah.
bullish, you know.
Yeah, well, so
Yeah.
the thing is here, actually, when we closed up like that, because it's an inside day and we didn't take the mean threshold of the order block, I did actually think at that point that this is going to be another midweek decline because of that. Like, we respected the mean threshold and it's an
Like,
inside day. Generally, when it's an inside day, it's going to be a continuation as opposed to a reversal.
yeah.
Yeah, so I just didn't think we were gonna have today's action after that. So like,
Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, failed to close
mhm,
above 50% of this order
mhm,
block.
mhm.
Inside day. And then like the amount of inside 4 hours we've been having lately.
Yeah.
4 hour and a 4 hour and a 4 hour, like leading into London. It's just
Yeah, the
challenging.
overnight sessions have been looking so consolidated, but they're realistically like a lot of range happening.
Yeah. A lot of yeah, accumulation, consolidation, which is painful
Mhm.
if you're doing those sessions. Painful for Asia. Yeah, so failed to close above that 50% and then it's just hammered down. So we didn't even get, like it didn't even come back to retest TDO. So we had, when we go into the lower time frame for the daily review, we've had the true day open and then it's gone into the macro of that, which I think was like 15 minutes in. And then that was the high of the day, which is uncommon. So imagine like people from New York may have been expecting, like if that PO3 was going to play out, we're like, oh, we haven't retested TDO.
Mhm.
Price to draw back
Mhm.
up. So looking for, if we're looking for continuation, then we've still got those areas down here. And we had I think last week we drew in it, there was a 4 hour order block down here as well.
Yeah.
Can still look for next week, or if today continues. This one, which is still unmitigated. And then lining up with 50% of the high time frame week.
As well as 4 deviations, and
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Plain. As well as OTE.
Yeah, confluence starting to build. Back to our daily. So yeah, where is the low of the month going to come in? And do we get it in the first 2 weeks or with one more week? Be interesting. Civi in there as well. It's interesting to see how next week starts to play out. We start to get more cautious for shorts as we're coming into these zones. Is there anything you wanted to add, Jess, there for the high TF? That's that 200 smooth moving average here as well. That's coming up into the 50%
Wow,
of that
there's
week.
a lot of confluence in that area. No, this is great. This is the exact continuation from what we discussed last week. It's pretty clean.
Cool. So let's go into our daily review. Jump on the 5 minute. So these, so I'm adding in those 4-hour open and closes now into the reviews for extra confluence, and then we can look at those manipulations of those 4 hours a bit closer as well and make them a bit more obvious. I'll just switch on the 90-minute cycle too. Such tight range. So we had like coming out of the previous day with New York. So we had a Q4 manipulation down here. If we look at that previous day, which had then gone into the day before, into the Q4 here as well. For that low. So we're building up. And we can discuss this as part of that when we do PO3 chat after doing the daily review. So from New York PM on the previous day, we've broken structure here and pushed up, leading up to Asia. Let's do a deviation of this as well. I'll grab that whole swing. So we've started the day. We've already come into that 4.5 standard deviation from the New York PM. We've grabbed our order block from down here. And we had the breakdown in that previous day PM session here. And this is very similar to what happened in New York AM today. So we have our break of structure. We do our OTE from the high to the low here, and then we look at the PD arrays within that zone that broke, that had the change in state of delivery. So see the CB here is well respected with the candle closes on the 5 minute. And that 0.79 level again, Jess, getting soup there.
So clean, so clean.
And so that then
Gotta
becomes...
love it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Every time I see it now, I'm thinking of that Simpsons meme. Every time I see 7.9. So yeah, CB well respected. We've come back in and then broken down from there, leading into Asia. So then that manipulation zone we have mapped out. We have our PDH, our PDL. We've got our zones on both sides. We do our OTE from PDH to PDL, which we have down here for our point of interest for the day. And our fixed range volume profile. So we had our POC is actually up here. So all the volume was in this move from the previous day. So that had a bit more confluence for price to come back up, which is part of the PO3 thesis I had of price coming back down to here and then coming up, taking Asia and London high and hitting that POC. That's what I wanted to wake up to this morning, to see that played out.
Yeah, especially with those equal highs right there.
Yeah. which is rare, not getting a big spike up or a higher manipulation. Even into like Q3 of London, it's more common to do that.
Yeah.
That becomes the high of the day, and then we get a cleaner standard deviation from there.
Was there SMC there though? There was likely with those equal highs to the, you know, or where you have the SBS, yeah. There was likely SMC here with the other assets.
So ES was programmed in to sell from that exact level. The flat highs. So we did get the lower high on NASDAQ.
I'm sure everyone was longing that.
So I probably won't talk about Asia too much. I think it's just like consolidation pain.
Yeah.
Through here.
Classic consolidation, yeah.
Yeah. So like we had for this 4 hour here from 18 to 2200. So we had our first break, which I think held as the high for that 4 hours. And then like we'd rebroken structure here with displacement, rejects 50% off of that high, comes back. For this, I think in the chat I was looking, we'd swept these lows. So I was looking to go long here after this break for a bullish continuation after this break here as well, which was incorrect. Sorry, bullish after SBS. This high. So we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I was looking for this to be 6 and continue 3. So I had a failed long, then shorted the retest here of this order block and come back up, and then it just come back up and took me out at BE.
Oof.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, I mean, it's a good thing because it ends up consolidating longer and then goes to run the highs again anyway.
Yeah.
So good BE.
Through the staircase up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much fun to sit through. And then, so this 4 hours done the open low. Here is the zone, and then pushed up, but then also comes straight back into the zone, like straight back to the H4 open. Which is, yeah, when you're in accumulation, consolidation areas, you're not getting that 4 hour expansions. Until we got to London here. So I did short this one, so the high of this 4 hour after this break. So entry was off of the this candle here, 35 minutes in. So we'd broken, just closed right on it, and then entered here. Target was 1.5, 2.5, and
wow, straight to target.
Yeah, just didn't get the extended. So after 1.5, SL to break even back at the zone. So then the last trade, so 3 trades, 1 to each target. Last trade got stopped out on the retrace, and then re-entered on 5 here, back at this zone. So this is our new H4, and then we've gone open high, and it's a high probability that the high will be within that first macro of the 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock H4. So entered here on 5, as this was, I should have waited for this to close, but as it was coming down, I'd entered after it broke below this 5-minute candle here at 205. And then same thing, so 1.5, 2.5, and 4.5 for targets.
Beautiful trade.
Whereas the better entry would have been at that 220, that retrace. So that was Once again, we have our OTE from the high to the low. Comes back to the, just missed the 7.9 on that one, 7.05.
Plus
And
the
that's
SMA
our
there.
TMSO as well. So we've manipulated above TMSO, come down, come back, retested, couldn't close above. And then bearish order block here again. And yeah, the SBS of that move. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we sweep 2. Come back up. And this is that 20 SMA as well, Jess. So we've come back down, broken below it here.
When we print an OB like that underneath EQ of OTE, or just EQ of the range in general, whenever there's an OB at OTE like that, at EQ, that's one of the signatures that I look for a continuation after the break. So that's
here.
actually beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's clean. And then, like, if on the deviation, that would technically be 0.05, and that's what's being taught as LRE.
Okay.
Low risk entry.
Yeah, nice. It's good then, because so I've been working on a rule of like if it's price already expanded to the 1.5 before the retracement, to just not enter, like that's the end of the trade, because TP1's already been hit before it's come back in for an entry. So getting that retracement first back to OT before hitting 1.5. Whereas when we look at the New York AM, like price from after 9:30 in the Q3 manipulation, price went straight to SD 2.5. So straight away, your targets are taken. And there's no entry for that long as such. So we can then look at the larger swing here as well, as price was continuing. And we've got that deviation here from that New York PM manipulation to help look for those lower targets. And this was a 15-minute BPR here as well for price to come through. For price to draw back down to. So London's just hammered down here. And we've got all the LRLR building.
Yeah. I love when the smaller deviations, or like the session deviations of one session, where it's finishing off at like 4 deviations, how it's always some sort of reaccumulation or redistribution level of either a higher time frame or a previous deviation.
Yeah.
I love when they line up like that. But yeah, then it's just leaving failure swing after failure swing.
Yeah. And then once we come down to 6 o'clock, so then we've got another, once we've taken these lows here, it's another good target if people stayed in a short from this with the higher deviation. And then, so we've taken them, and then there's another redistribution in here. Oh, which is what I've started for that larger one to see. So 1, 2, we broke 2 here into that quarter 4 of the AM, 4, 5. And then that was OTE from here to that low. As well. So this H4 from 6 to 10's just gone straight to open high, low close. And this was the high of that H4. And that come down to SD3, which then is, we're at the So it already knocked out that 4.5 of that main standard deviation for the day.
Yep, and then we have that huge retracement, that very deep retracement after that. Wow.
Yeah. So this is what I mean where you're unable to get in here. So we draw our zone in from 935 was the manipulation low of quarter 3. And the low of that H4 break structure, price goes straight to 1.5. So then there's no entry for us, and we'd remove our limit orders for longs if we were looking for longs from down here to continue up to those other point of interest that we had of Asia and London high and the POC and true day open. And this is where it was similar to that New York PM high.
Yeah.
Yeah. But tricky to spot because we're like manipulated below TMSO and now we're manipulating above TMSO. Like a Judas swing. So price then breaks here. This becomes our zone. And we do our OTE of the zone. So from the high to the low. And we then put it on our PD arrays within the zone. So we have a SIBI here. There's no BPR or BISI. They become our point of interest, plus OTE for a short entry. Stop would be above the zone. So confluence for this short trade, we've had an OTE retracement. This is our 200 SMA up the top. Price is rejecting.
Wow. Look at that rejection. That is so beautiful.
Yeah, so 10 o'clock's pretty much, it's given us a little wick, but it's pretty much just opened high for the H4. So we put our high in. Then we've got our break of structure. We've come back into OTE. And then looking at the macro time, this happens at 11:10. So this becomes the high of the 1 hour candle of 11 o'clock. We're using confluence with the 1 hour macros as well. So we could enter here, stop loss up here, which still gives us a pretty tight entry and tight stop loss. Even off that 7.9. And then price rejects down. Engulfs here. These are sort of like your safe entries, isn't it? And as you come back, if we got a retest here, we could enter the stop loss above here to come back through. So we've got our bearish zone. And then we're targeting 1.5, 2.5, and 4 to 4.5 on the way down. But yeah, very tricky to spot. Like if we're in here.
Right, because it looks like it's just sweeping liquidity and going higher.
Yeah. And even if we counted that out as a bullish break, it's a trap.
Yeah.
So yeah, tricky.
It's interesting though how it wicked 2 deviations as well as the 200 SMA at the same time.
Yeah.
We don't get the body, right? So that's usually the indicator that we're not going to continue to 4 deviations. So yeah, that is nice though. If you're, if you have the overall bearish bias in mind from the higher time frame from the daily, then it may or may not be easy to catch. And then if you overlap the 1 hour power 3 plus the 4 hour power 3, then forming the high here almost makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Whereas
you had that reject.
If we're looking at it to be the other way, and for the clean along, we would have wanted, whether it had come down and made another low, or even come back for the 10 o'clock macro, before hitting any of these levels, into 10, 10, 10, 15, which will then give us our entry to then attack these and go from there. But yeah, so the confidence is definitely building for the short there, and it's the trick is having that mindset of being able to switch, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because you have those equal highs just calling, right?
Yeah.
They're all, yeah.
And New
And
York
then
loves to
plus
take Asia high and lows.
right,
Yeah.
plus true day open. Yeah, like there's a lot of confluence up there to say, yeah, we can probably go up to there. And then, yeah, and then it's just a signature of that two standard deviation plus the SMA and everything else that plays out there. But clean,
Yeah.
really beautiful.
It's nice breaking it down and seeing everything align.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and then straight down to SD4 here into the PM. Didn't get a there wasn't a reaccumulation SPS there. Didn't get that sweep of 2.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what is normally good to look for around those 2.5, or even 1.5 to continuation. But yeah, smash through PDL. And then we've had our break down here, even unable to break through here, just PDL retest.
Mm-hmm.
Down and expanded here. So this one would have been tricky too. So we've reached our deviation level. We had a 1 5-minute close above at 1440. So like
And
entering
then
here is just it's
yeah,
pretty hard
it's
to do.
impossible.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
we don't want to
Sorry.
enter then here because we've already gone to 1.5, 2.5. So that
Yeah.
yeah
Your target is theoretically already hit, and
yeah
so
yeah
yeah, that's crazy. Look how fast how fast and deep these retracements are after the deviations are met.
yeah yeah.
Yeah.
They're definitely like very very good levels to have on the chart. Definitely gets a
Mm-hmm.
response from each one. I look at these swings, and then I'm sitting through this.
Yeah.
New York starts and it just opens up.
Yeah, you're asleep through all of that. That's tough.
Yeah,
You do
so
get some nice Asian sessions sometimes, though.
yeah. So manipulation below TMSO for this last 4 hour here. And then we can even mark out which I started doing as well, the 4 hour open to help look for the manipulation below or above, manipulation on the opposing side of the open, similar to TMSO. Oh man, I've been missing the chat. Stuffy 2 p.m. open had a 75% chance to hit the same hour after breaking the 1 p.m. low. So at 1400.
Yeah, which it did immediately.
Yeah.
As soon as it
Yeah.
took the 1 hour, the previous hour low, it shot right back up to the open.
Yeah. Awesome.
Plus the deviation. This is just wicked clean. If you just have all of this on your checklist to check.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely adds a lot of confluence and helps you move with price. And then like we've talked about lots of times, just looking at those macro times around your POIs
Yeah.
just helps stay out of the bad trades and get into a position which is ideally within the 1 hour or the 4 hour wick with your stop loss protected at the lows or the highs.
Yeah. It's almost like basically if you just watch for a manipulation zone to occur above the open of your 4 hour or your 1 hour, then you should be aligned with the 1 hour, 4 hour, power of 3. And then
Yeah.
if it also is happening during the hourly macro, then you're pretty much, and then it's OTE, and then you have your deviation. So like if all those time based factors are aligning with your price based factors, then it's almost a no brainer.
Yeah. Very
Take
cool.
it every time.
So shall we move into the PO3 chat from there?
Definitely.
All right. Let me grab a different chart. Now here's the one from the previous day. Which we can use with standard deviations on. So basically, with the power of 3, we're looking at a accumulation consolidation range. And when they play out well, it happens a lot during Asia and London. And then New York will be the manipulation into distribution. So good example here from Tuesday. So we had this whole range in here from Asia. And then London swept the Asia high. Pop that. Asia high, Asia low. And another thing that works well with these is you can then just have another box from Asia high, and then we're looking for the manipulation above the PO3. So in this case, we had our OTE down here, and our POC from our fixed range volume profile was down the bottom as well. And we could have also done the deviation from the New York PM session too, to allow confluence for price to come lower. So we've had our accumulation range. We can draw a box above Asia high for London to look for a manipulation up if we're wanting to short it down into this zone. And then we have basically standard deviation to work downwards for the manipulation, and then we can get another standard deviation for the expansion up of the PO3.
Oh, this is like a classic. I've never seen something this classic in a long time.
So
Maybe
I
all
always
year.
like to so we have quarter 3 and quarter 4. Have our box to help work out the manipulation above Asia. And then we get our breakdown in quarter 4. Low that made the high. And then aligned with our 4-hour candles as well. So we had our 2 o'clock open. Manipulations above. From here.
And even in that 4 hour, you have a miniature PO3 happening there. You have that accumulation right at the beginning, and then
Yeah.
manipulate above, and then break down.
And then, so same again here, just with that part of the new 4-hour from 6 o'clock. Open high.
Curve range, these are manual every time.
Yeah. That becomes the high of the 4-hour. Have the break here. 8 o'clock macro. Continues down. Finishing off the 4-hour at SD 3.5. From that. So every time you guys are coming into the chart and you've already seen Asia and London play out, and you see these accumulation ranges, everyone should be getting pretty excited looking for the manipulation to then push to the other side of the accumulation range.
Yeah, and it's really just as simple as boxing out your sessions. And then once you see that London has taken Asia, and then it's honestly, especially if London takes both sides of Asia, then it's almost quintessential that New York is going to have a New York manipulation as well. And
Yeah,
it'll be what's called a New York reversal. So then when it then you're yeah then you meet the deviation, you have another manipulation level there that is just wicked clean. You once you do this enough, you just see it forming in real time with naturally.
yeah, yeah. And then having the deviations for the measurements is
Mm-hmm.
just
To just add
makes
the
it very
yeah.
clean. So this order block was the order block that created the breakout here. And we also had an SBS count of this.
This is the classic
So that was the
quintessential
break.
ICT day.
I'm sorry. Was and then so 2 got broken over here. If we added SBS into the PO3 structure as well of this state, and then 6 was up here.
Beautiful.
This was a very cool day, yeah, and a very good example. So we can, a way to do the manipulation is then looking from that Q3 open in New York. We're expecting, and then we're just watching it come down from there as it comes through the OTE levels, and we're looking for that break of structure. And even into that was like spot on with the 0.79 on that one too.
Look at it.
Into
It's
the
just
unmitigated OB.
I want to like post this on my wall. This is just so beautiful.
Break of structure here, and then expansion up. So we have our 3 boxes: accumulation, manipulation, distribution. I've been trying to post these too occasionally into that lab section if members do want to go through there and have a bit of a look. So similar setup from the day before. Asia range, London. New York Q3.
It's almost like it repeats every day. This is
Yeah, so it would have been awesome if it had done it today as well. And then we had 3 days, which is why it became a good topic. I'm like, yeah, it's going to be great. Up to 2.5. This was tricky here. This was the 2 o'clock. Sorry, midnight open. It was a bit annoying. Not the cleanest high there. So down to SD 3.5. So got our accumulation. This is the swing that took the high. Becomes our manipulation within the manipulation that we can draw our standard deviations from. Looking for lows between 3.5 to 4.5. That's our manipulation swing. Break structure again. We do our standard deviation from the high to the low, including wicks. And then we've got all the highs from the accumulation to target, as well as the standard deviation levels. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution, And so, yeah, a good way to draw them on is from that quarter 3 or quarter 2 across, line them up with the standard deviations, and then that helps work out where the low is going to form. And then we're
Yeah,
targeting all the way up to...
This exercise of just marking out your accumulation, manipulation, and distribution zones, this is like one of the second or third homework assignments I've ever done by ICT, and it really gets you used to the idea of PO3 as you're studying price action. This is just that way you know, like, oh, I shouldn't be trading this as we're still consolidating. We're still in consolidation. So if you don't see a clear consolidation and manipulation zone yet, then you just wait.
You just
You just
leave
wait
it.
until
Yeah.
until you see the break, and then once you see the break in the zone at a specific time, Q3, then it's almost then again it's a no brainer. You just wait for the break and then you wait for OTE. So you're essentially waiting for that displacement out of the zone and the retest of OTE, and then you're in. You should be in a clean distribution after that. For anyone that wants to study what we're talking about here.
And so with the addition of the 4 hours, we're like, oh, there's no clean break above on the 4 hour or below. So you're just like, oh, sit out of that for another 4 hours. And you wait.
Yeah.
Or you mark out the zone and wait for that break. Yeah.
Yeah, this is if you can't tell, this is a 4 hour inside of a 4 hour. And then you finally at 6, you finally break out of the overnight 4 hour candles, right? So you can see that just
Oops, I lost your voice there, Jess. So the 4 hour that Jess is talking about, we're within this 4 hour swing here. And then the 4 hours within that, next 4 hours within those 4 hours.
yeah.
Back, lost your voice for a minute.
Oh, sorry.
We're good. That's better. But yeah, sitting through this is you're almost better off just setting alerts at the high and lows, and then just walking away. Yeah.
It's one of the things, like, I think for new traders, the one of the things is like you need more rules to stay out of price action initially. And that this is just one of the most cleanest ways or simplistic ways to stay out of price action is just like, okay, we're still inside of the previous 4 hour candle, right? Or we're still inside of this 4 hour candle from yesterday. So yeah, just set alerts at the higher low and come back and look at it, because you don't need to watch anything that's just consolidating.
Yeah.
Unless, you insist on trading consolidated price action.
It's just exhausting.
Yeah.
Mentally
I wouldn't
draining.
wish it on anyone.
Yeah. So yeah, so very good examples over this week of the PO3s. And yeah, Jess has dropped that picture in the chat as well for you guys to save into your Discord libraries. Always good to create a channel and call it PO3, and then you can map out these as well and then pop them in there as examples with the standard deviations. And then you can always click back on them when price is starting to play that out as a reference of what to look for.
And don't forget to save your before and after charts of this as well.
All right. Did anyone have any questions about the power of 3? Can You see the weekly stopped at the contract rollover level. For me, they're very important. Not something I've looked into. No, all clear. Thanks for the insights. No worries. So yeah, the whole idea being very similar to that picture that Jess has got. And we can then incorporate our quarters. And if trading London, we get a break out of the box.
And this is the signature, guys, I've mentioned before. Like, that is the quintessential signature of the Judas, is that it goes in the right direction first before it goes down for the manipulation. So it's consolidating, and then it has that little breakout, and it goes in the right direction, sucking in early longs, but then you get the real manipulation down, and this is like the true Judas and manipulation before the distribution occurs. I've mentioned this a couple of times in the
and then you get everyone like, fair value gaps don't work because they all short this one.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Or this darn 2022 model didn't work.
Just ripped straight through my stop loss. Yeah. So yeah, Q2 to Q3 in New York with the 90-minute cycle. And these retracement parts here, if you can get them within a new H4, so they're 10 o'clock open, low, high close, and 10 o'clock macro in here, and then just ride it up, stop loss under. And when you have nice expansion days, like it'll, these went to, what was it, 3, or 2, SD 2.5. But big expansion days will continue on to SD 4, 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
All good. Shall we move on to the monthly questionnaire?
I believe so. Has everyone been journaling? Have you guys that created your Discord journals, have you guys been journaling?
I'll just grab it and bring it up. And I'll pop it in the chat.
Jeremiah, I don't believe you journal for a second. I don't even believe you wrote I suck. Yeah, exactly, Ali. That is really the magic of it, is that you can just pull everything up with a few clicks and a few letters.
Do you want to just talk through the questions, and then maybe while you're doing that, I'll mark up the new daily levels on the chart?
Sure. All right, so going over the monthly performance review, these are just a few questions that you guys want to ask yourself so that, on a consistent basis, you're journaling sort of familiar things and you are doing some introspection into what you could be doing better moving forward. So, what worked well this month? Be very generous and kind to yourselves when you kind of harp on the things that you did well, right? So, take the time and to go over that thoroughly, because you do want to remember your good trades. And I recommend here that you take a lot of screenshots of the trades that did work out. Next question, what didn't work well this month? So when you go into journaling your mistakes, you don't want to say things like I suck, Jeremiah. You really want to try to approach these things objectively. And the way I like to put it is like, if you were the best trader on earth, or if you were your future self as the best trader you can possibly be, and you're looking at this objectively, just like how we went over price, in the daily review, is like, okay, what did I miss? What happened here? And just try to understand, like, what's happening in price action, that maybe you missed, or maybe you just weren't seeing at the time, and you want to journal it from that perspective instead of like making it about how you feel. in this situation, you want to talk about the steps that you took or didn't take that led to these mistakes, right? So like you saw this deviation, but you thought it would go higher because of what XYZ. So yeah, when you go into things that didn't work, with some compassion, right? Which session did you perform best in? This is really important because it'll kind of open up some key things to you on like what session may be better for you to trade. So some most of us I would say are probably trading all day every day. And if you're trying to reduce losses, paying attention to what session you did best in would help with that. And you can mark this as you can list some things like you performed mentally well, or you just performed well as far as being able to execute well, or you were just focused. Or, maybe in the next question, which session did you underperform in? Maybe you were sleepy, maybe you were distracted, maybe you were having dinner at the time, or, just depending on where we live in the world, it could just not be the time of day that operates for us. And think about it like this too, is like when you first wake up in the morning, you're obviously at your sharpest most of the time for most of us. Even if you're not generally a morning person, you make better decisions earlier in the day than later in your day. So wherever you are, whatever session you're waking up to, or whatever your sleep schedule is, that can really have a hand in which session you're performing best in and which session you're underperforming in. What time of day was your most successful trade? So that, leading into that from what I just said, you want to pay attention to what time of day you are actually able to trade at your best. And as you journal these things consistently month after month, you will see a reoccurring pattern for sure. So very important to journal these things.
I think
Did you
too.
journal your lose?
Sorry,
Sorry, go ahead.
like if you're starting to work more on the H4s like this, and you're finding your time of trade that's playing out really well is within a H4 macro, and that you're having a lot more success with that over other times, then definitely having those times recorded. Or even if you're not sure, but you're still getting this one time of day that's working really well for you, and then you can pair that with a H4, I think is very helpful.
Yeah, yeah, you can choose that day to study going forward, right? Or just show you can make that your shift to show up, right? Which you guys have seen me done live is that I literally leave the charts every day at 11 a.m. So regardless of if price action played out in my favor or it didn't, or it what I assumed would happen and it didn't, I know that I performed best because I journaled it so many times, and then I'm able to pair that with, okay, I'm going to study AM session only with the 10 a.m. expansion, right? And you only get a handle on these things if you're actually journaling it month after month. So you'll see this reoccurrence of like, oh, I did great this AM session. I did great this AM session. Did you journal your losing trades? Now, again, when you're journaling your losing trades, you want to be objective, but you don't want to just take a loss and walk away from the chart, as most of us probably do in the beginning. You either take a loss and you start clicking away and start getting angry, or you take a loss and you just leave. But the point is like you're not taking the time to journal the loss. You need to approach it objectively. You need to approach it as if like you're your own employee, and again like what you could have done better. Did you enter your trades too soon? Yeah, so you'll know based on what we studied today with PO3. Did you enter maybe in the accumulation before the manipulation? Those would be indications of entering too soon, or maybe you spent a lot of time in drawdown. So that's one metric you can use to go by. Did you enter the trades too late? So you can use things like premium and discount. You can also use power of three and see like did you enter as close to the manipulation as possible, or in the wick of the candle, or above the 1 hour open, above the 4 hour open. Those are all good metrics that you can use. Or like did you basically short the bottom or buy the top, right? Did you take profit too soon? Now, This is something that I highly, highly recommend that we all journal because I've this is when I learned that I actually like to hold trades. So I resonate with this question a lot is because I would journal all the time. I should have held. I should have held. So, did you take profit too soon? Doesn't necessarily mean did you hold price until its target, which of course we all want to do that, right? I think all of us want to get better on our exits. I don't know a single person that thinks they have mastered their exits. But if you are finding that price is going on without you and you're tilting as a result of that, then that's a clear sign that you did take profit too soon. Did you take profit too late? So, you were in a good position, you were in profit, and then boom, you broke even. Boom, it even worse, it hit your stop after you were in X amount of points of profit. And then this type of person is generally always journaling, oh, I should have closed. I should have closed. I'm holding too long. I should have closed. Which, after I learned I like to hold trades because I was taking profit too soon, I did discover that I actually now have the problem of holding trades too long. And again, I learned these things from journaling it over and over and over again. Uh, did you risk too much? So if you are entering a trade and your idea was right, but you got stopped out too soon simply because you risked too much. You really want to focus on the invalidation of the trade. So, did you risk appropriately for your trade idea? Right? If you knew that it could go all the way, like for example, when we were reviewing today's price action, Adrian was saying he really wanted price to go back up to the POC level and TDO. So had he wanted to participate in shorts from where we were in price action, his stop loss would have had to been crazy wide. But that's with knowing the invalidation for him is those levels above, knowing that price can go up that high. So we have two options in that scenario. Generally, you can say, okay, I'm just gonna wait until price comes to the level that I want it to come to, or I am going to take price the trade now, but I'm going to risk accordingly, right? So risking too much, you're generally getting stopped out of the right idea too soon, and that is one of the metrics you can use for that. Did you risk too little? So if you held all day or you held for a great amount of time and then you only made like $20 or whatever, like maybe you only risk one micro. I know a lot of people in the chats, they kind of don't have a set risk parameter. They don't have a set R. They just enter with, they have a fixed contract that they enter with. So you'll find after enough of those trades, you're going to be like, wow, like yesterday I made $500 in 10 points. Today I made $50 in 100 points, something like that. That is an example of, obviously risking too little because then you're not maximizing your profits in this scenario. What actions have you taken to fix these issues? So, theoretically, if you have journaled all of this, now you want to take a look and say, okay, what is the reoccurring theme, right? Like, what am I what stage am I at? And do you need to start breaking even? Do you need to start taking a lot less losses, or do you need to maximize profits, right? And that would all refer back to one of the questions that we just went through. What did you journal your losing trades? Did you enter too soon, too late, etc. The answers to those questions can reveal to you what you need to fix, right? So, and if you didn't take any action to fix it, then you want to come up with solutions that you can take to fix these actions. Um, how can you do more of what worked this month? So again, um, reflecting on these questions above, you should have a clear answer for what you are doing well and think of ways to duplicate that behavior. So again, if you're performing best in a certain session and you are entering trades at the right time and you're risking at the right amount of time, then you want to just repeat that action over and over in the form of either studying that action, sitting in for that session as if it's a work shift, or even just opting to journal that specific session every single day, like in the form of a review that Adrian just did. Um, how can you do less of what didn't work? So, you, again, referring to these questions, with knowing how you performed poorly, um, try to create barriers or try to create friction for yourself so that you don't repeat these actions, right? So let's say your problem is that you're holding too soon. Well, then you can use something like the deviations to take profit at so that you're not taking profit too soon, right? So then you can hold the trades until these targets and you are either going to hold for that or you're going to break even. Things like that. You can set rules for yourself so that you are either holding as long as you want, or just preventing the mistakes that you had. Just make your mistakes harder to make. And again, if you're, I think tilting and over trading is generally what most people are making the mistake of. And with that, you just need to create some type of barrier, or just some type of spacing between your wins and losses, or between trades altogether, right? So if you just took a good trade, take the time to journal it. I think journaling in between trades is one of the best way to create just space out your trades so that you're not immediately giving back profit, or that you're not immediately taking loss after loss.
You're getting
Now,
that
if you could,
gratification as well, like copying
yeah,
it, putting it
absolutely.
into your happy winning folder.
Yeah, exactly. And then while you're journaling this, because you're in your folder already, you're seeing your wins at the same time that you're journaling the win, right? So you're reading your journal review to, like, see if you spelled anything wrong, and then you happen to glance up and you see the rest of your wins, and then you start to go down the rabbit hole of like just looking back at all your wins. It happens a lot if you do journal often. You're gonna glance at something, it's gonna catch your eye, and then you're gonna go down this rabbit hole of going deeper and deeper into your journal. And this is it is a very, very simple way to just buffer each trade. Now, if you could rewind the month, what advice would you give yourself knowing what you know now? Again, have some compassion, right? We are all human. We all enter trading with a specific goal in mind. I think that we all tend to focus on what we're doing wrong, and how much further we have to go, instead of focusing on what we're doing right and how far we've come. And it's really important to focus on those things when you're giving yourself feedback, as from from where you were a month ago, right? And what advice would you give yourself from now, and how far have you just come in just this past month? Because a month in trading can feel like a lifetime. It can feel like an absolute lifetime, especially if you're getting murdered. What's one thing you're proud of this month? So again, assuming that we are all actually taking the steps to get better, and you're taking action to improve some of your mistakes, you do want to be generous with the self praise, I think, because trading is hard. So if it's just the one thing, like I stopped taking off my stop losses, which a lot of people don't trade with stop losses in the server. Like, if you did not move your stop loss, that is something to be proud of. If you held until the deviation, and you really these good habits around trading. So yeah, these questions, save this screenshot in your journals. That way you have this template to journal every month, if not every week or every day if possible. But I think it can be overkill if you try to do this every day. But definitely at least once a month, to build up the habit. And so I think the cue is like every NFP week, for example, because it's such a rocky week for most. And this is when most people probably lose all their profits, or they put themselves in a big hole to start the month out. This is a really, really good week to review your previous month. So you can go over this sheet and just make sure that you are journaling, and at month over month, if you see the same answer starting to happen, then you know exactly what you need to work on going forward. Any questions, guys?
Say quiet again today.
Is everyone getting rocked? Is everyone having a good week? Or are you guys having a bad week? Does anyone need to talk about anything? Do you need to vent about anything? I have been, yeah, right, you're Maya. I actually I've not been on the charts very much this week at all. Kind of just glancing and looking at alerts. We are 1 month out, or about 6 weeks out, actually, realistically, from the last frost date. So I've been in full garden mode. So Ali, I'm sorry to hear. Yeah, okay, so everyone seems to be having a rough week, except your Maya. I know your Maya is being sarcastic. So, what do you guys want to talk about? What do you think you did wrong this week? Or why are you having a bad week? Or what could you do better? What could you do better this week that you think you're having a bad week? And if you are having a bad week, is it actually an improvement from what you were doing a month ago? Ah, okay, you're Maya. Wow. So I did get wicked out of a trade. I can't remember if it was this morning or yesterday morning. I literally I shorted like near high of day. I it was probably this morning. I shorted near high of day, but I did actually risk too much and I got stopped out prematurely. So it happened to me too today, your Maya, actually. I just can't recall. Yeah, it's a I don't know. I don't think so because my mornings have been really early this week or this entire month really. So I'm kind of getting up around 4:30 every day and then going back to bed around 6 or 7 and then getting back up for AM sessions. So my days are all kind of jumbled together at the moment. Wix got me several days. The trade setup was good. Yeah. Yeah, so that's the thing too, Ollie, right? Like if it's a trade that you would take every single time, all your rules are met, right? All the criteria that you generally look for is the right time of day. It's aligned with news, it's aligned with everything that's going on. And execution wise, there's nothing you could do better. That's just that's just the percentage of times that we're going to take a loss. And taking a loss is not indicative of being a loser, right? Like it's quite the opposite. Like you do with trial and error, you do experience error. There's error. You have to execute you do have to experience the error at some point. So with an 80% win rate, we do have to lose 20% of the time to achieve that.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna be a big candle as well. I so this is the thing because we have that higher time frame SBS that we're watching. And then we do have like the weekly OB right below us, right? So which we did tap the open. It looks like. Let me just double check here. The high is at 2011. Okay, no, we haven't. Well, we haven't reached the down close candle yet. The very last down close candle, which was a wickless at 2011, 20,011. We just missed it by about 10 points. But we did tap the actual top of the continuous OB, so like the series of candles. So yeah, we are. It could be one of those weeks where we have a crazy bullish reversal, or it can go down to those equal lows that we've all been eyeing for a long time. Um, and it's just kind of in that area, right? We could, four deviations is right inside of that OB plus OTE in that area, plus the SMA, I believe. So we could see a rejection here with the way the weekly candle is playing out though, I wouldn't be surprised if it is another midweek decline and we close lower. Just currently, because it is Thursday already, right? And we are currently big body down on the weekly. Revenge some trades after each stopped out, which I knew I shouldn't press any more buttons. Yeah. How can you add more friction between each trade, Cloud Surfer? That is the question for you. So one of the first things that I did to buffer my losses when especially with revenge trading, because it's so easy to just reverse, reverse, reverse. Like as soon as you start to tilt, then it's just like, oh, now of course it's gonna go down now, and you just start hitting the button, right? Or like you're essentially risk sinking, but maybe on the one account. You're not doing it across multiple accounts like we should be doing. Um, there's a couple of things. So first, initially, when I didn't have the capital to trade multiple accounts, I would just automatically shut down, power down the PC or laptop that you're on, because that's at least at a minimum. Even if you have a super fast PC, it's at least gonna give you like a 30-second buffer, a 30-second to a minute buffer, right? You have to, it's gonna shut everything down. You have to open back up Trading View. You have to open up whatever broker you're trading on or sign into Trading View. So it's at least giving you that, right? So that's one thing you can do if nothing else. The second thing that I implemented to buffer trades was I would shut down and walk out. So I would just leave the office, which eventually turned into my daily routine of like leaving the office every day at 11. Nowadays, with more capital in play, I tend to just open up a new account. So I'll take the time right there to go to the prop firm, buy a new account, right? That alone will take like 5 minutes, depending. And then if I buy a new account, I'll hop back on. And then that way, if I am quote unquote revenge trading, then I'm just losing, aka just losing in eval, open quote, end quote, right? Or I'm passing an eval, right? So um revenging on an eval, you're not losing any actual equity, but if you're passing that eval, then great, you just added to your inventory. So those are, some things that you could do if you're open to suggestions.
The other thing to do, if you're struggling with revenge trading, is um, just stop, take a picture of your chart, write down what you've done wrong, put that into your losing trades folder on your Discord, and then stop yourself from trading until the next 1 hour macro. And that gives you time to sort of reset, refresh. We don't want to get in between the 1 hour because that's when you get chopped up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you, and that's the thing in itself, is like if you can just regroup for a second and just journal the trade, that really will just add so much more time between you getting back onto the charts. And like you can take the time to regroup, because I've said this live before as well, is that you don't want to associate bad feelings with trading, right? So if you're constantly at the chart and you're about to revenge trade and you're in a bad mood, and this is happening over and over and over again, especially this week, right? This is something where now your brain is indirectly associating trading with bad feelings. So every time you go to sit down on your chart, whether you choose to, whether you know about it or not, or intend to or not, you're going to get into a bad mood because your brain loves patterns. So if you're constantly in a bad mood while you're at the charts, you're reinforcing that behavior to yourself. So if you take the second to go journal and you can feel that you're just on edge, this is the clear telltale to just walk away or just journal it out until you can regroup, and then like Adrian said, wait until the next 1 hour, 4 hour macro and say, okay, until then I'm gonna calm down or I'm gonna walk away, right? And I will say, like, I think all of us could probably get some sun. All of us can probably step outside more, right? So If you find that you can actually stop yourself and journal and you do have to wait until the next hour or next 4 hour candle, then go outside for a second. Breathe some fresh air, touch grass, let the sun hit your face, right? And more times than not, you're gonna find something else to do and say, oh, I don't even want to go back in and trade. And that's even better. Come back tomorrow.
The other thing I find too is like if you had some consecutive losses and you're putting them into your losing trades folder, like you start to get sick of that. You're like, I don't want to be putting any more losing trades in here. I want to be filling my winning trade folder. Right, and it makes you sort of
Yeah.
step back and be more cautious. And you're like, right, the next one that's going in is going to be a winning trade. You know, I'm very close to. Whereas, yeah, going back in and then continually taking losses, you're creating more work around the journaling side of it.
Yeah, true. I mean, that's one of the most annoying things. That's another reason why I don't like scalping for me is the more trades I take, the more I have to journal, right?
Yeah.
So, I would prefer to journal less, for sure.
So I've just added that 1 hour chart. I forgot to do that as well. And the TGIF levels pending where the low comes in. Can you guys see that? It's not showing my... Still streaming okay? So yeah, interesting to see if we get a, once we get to TDO, if it's open, high, low, close again or not. We've got OTE of this swing here of the daily. And then we've got this order block here now from 10 o'clock. So if price can't get above 50% of that, Jess, it'll be entry for some shorts back to PDL to get a Friday low of the week into plausible TGIF.
Yeah, where that 70.05 level is like a sweep of the bodies. I wouldn't be surprised if it even goes that high.
Yeah.
But I would love for the bodies to stay below 50. Like if we just wick into the area, it wouldn't surprise me.
Be the alternative, like we open low, take out PDL, and then come back to that to finish the day. Wherever the TGIF comes in. Should be interesting. Do you see the
Oh, I see.
1500
Oh, I
high
see
the
the
days
TGI
here?
left. Oh, wow.
14.
With New York AM lows too. Interesting.
1500 here as well on Monday.
What was... Oh, it was a London high. Oh, no, that's New York. That's New York. For Monday.
Yep, 9 o'clock for the high of the week.
Wow, so every single day has been a New York reversal.
Yeah.
Into just end of day.
PO3, right?
High day.
Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Manip. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So accumulation.
Tomorrow's going to be interesting. Yeah.
And then which way are we going to go?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty simple though. If we just manipulate into the OB, then we know we're gonna go lower, right, into the previous day low probably, and then, or if we manipulate into previous day low first, then we distribute higher.
Yeah.
Into TGIF.
So we can grab our quarter 3 for the AM, or even London, depending where it happens, and then either like that or yeah, we go down. interesting.
I'm inclined to think that it's going to manipulate previous day low first, then TJIF, only because of the higher time frame SBS that we also see forming here, or possibly forming here.
Yeah. And big news as well, so yeah, it could be.
Oh yes,
interesting.
NFP, the big news.
Cool highs here. Having HHTF in mind, one can look for confirmation we are targeting the HHTF. We target them just like the M5 liquidity. Thoughts on the daily BISI below. Okay, looking over here. So we got this BPR here, as well as the BISI. So BPR's within a manipulation leg.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we are now, yeah.
Think of it as the change in state of delivery, your Maya. So once you have the break above, or what you would consider the change in state of delivery, I'll let Adrian explain it. He can probably do it in a much simpler way.
Yeah, so once we've had that change, so like there's one here, which didn't continue out. So that's our 1 that's broken the low that made the high.
Yeah.
2. So then if we'd broken 1 again, 3, we could look for shorts from 4 and 5. And then we pair that with, a 0.79 soup. And then get the short from there. So yeah, pairing the SBS with the 5 min CASDs is pretty helpful. See if I can find a good 5-minute example.
The daily BISI below us is also where the 4 deviations lands, which is all where it's all in the level that we're kind of targeting with previous day low and all of that. OTE plus the manipulation zone.
So for continuation, Maya, once we break low here, that's our 1 swing there. 0 to 1, 2, 3, 4. Once we get the sweep of 2. 4, 5, 6. Otherwise, when you're at the highs, you're just waiting for that first break. All good. Well, shall we end it there, Jess? Pretty good.
Sorry, Adrian, you're kind of breaking up on me.
Oops.
Can you guys hear him okay? Yeah,
Cut
you're
out.
cutting out on
Okay.
us a little bit.
Did you get the talk about the SBS?
Okay.
Was that okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Your Maya, did that answer your question? Yeah, he said thanks, so I think we're good to go.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Any comments, concerns, or questions, guys? My pleasure. Questions, I guess we can call it. Hopefully tonight doesn't just consolidate all night. Maybe we actually get a London low today.
Yeah. Yeah.
or,
London sweep of
or a
PDL.
London high. Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But all week with New York reversals and New York manipulations, I wouldn't be surprised if today we get a London manipulation.
Yeah. And then you get those days, and then everyone from New York are like, "Oh, I should be trading London."
For low. Yeah.
And they've had it all week, all the big moves.
Oh, true. That's a good point, Cloud Surfer.
Where are we?
I hadn't
We're at the
actually
top.
noticed that. Oh, nice. Staffy thinks we go up. You think we go up without manipulating previous day low? I think low than TGIF personally,
Yeah.
but you know, yeah.
And well
My
up
pleasure.
here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, another sweep, giving low of the day, giving the Friday low of the week, and then continue on would be fun, especially in London.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, Steffi. Yeah.
Hmm. Wow, those are high probabilities for both sides. What in the world? Wow,
Playing
wow,
it down.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we want them to sort of keep building up to the high side and then smash the low ones and then get the expansion for all the highs. Need to get one-sided, yeah.
All right, Adrian, another great session.
Yeah, all good. All right. We'll leave it there. Thanks, guys.
Have a good night or good day.